6 million ways to die. Choose one.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hurricane of Football podcast. Today, I'm hosting this podcast. My name is Clarence, and I'm here joined with my co-host Seth and Ferdinand. So here we go, and let us begin this podcast. Now, gentlemen, what is the agenda for today?
Obviously, we are discussing the Champions League draw for the round of 16. We are discussing the bracket.
Me, I already know where I stand, and I like my odds, but I want to hear from you guys. Give me your opinion. Let me start with Seth.
Honestly, if you're speaking for Barcelona, I don't think we had a worst draw. Newcastle is a tough match, but I don't think it's the most difficult, and we're afraid of beating them this season. And a potential match against Atletico Madrid or Tottenham. I mean, I believe Barcelona can beat Atletico Madrid, even though they lost to them 4-0 recently. I still think Barcelona can beat Atletico Madrid on their day, so I'm not really that worried about Atletico Madrid. Or if we get Tottenham, that match could even be 7-0 to Barcelona, so I'm not worried about that. Then a potential match against Arsenal in the semi-final, it will be difficult, but Arsenal are not impenetrable. So honestly, I back Barcelona beating any of the teams to the final. Honestly, I do.
You see, that's why I am here. I'm here to humble the two Barcelona fans. No come and talk that your party. Remember, you are 4-0 down against Atletico in a different competition. Keep that in mind. Know that it's not as easy as you think it will be.
The match against, we would definitely do a comeback against against Atletico Madrid.
Remember.
No. Stop. This is like all the Barca fans I've spoken to are saying come back, and I rebuke it. I don't even know where this confidence is coming from. I don't understand.
Remember. Yeah. Luis Enrique once said.
On Tuesday. The match will play.
Luis Enrique once said, if they score us 4, we just have to score them 6, and that's what we'll do.
I mean, it's not impossible.
You guys have been unrealistically overly confident.
It's not impossible for us to score against Atletico Madrid. It's not impossible. So,
but you're not considering the fact that Atletico too can score you and to make the match even difficult at that point. If Atletico even add one more goal it will be extremely difficult for you guys to come back.
Difficult, but not impossible. We beat a team 6-1 before. It's not 4-0. We can come back. But we are getting sidetracked. Let's focus on Champions League. So the first match. So Clarence, let me ask you, in the round of 16, which match are you looking forward to the most?
Chelsea versus PSG.
Okay. And why is that the match you're looking forward to the most?
Robert Sanchez said after the Club World Cup, in his way, he said, give me PSG so that we'll eliminate them again and they will no longer have any excuses for us. That's what he said. So I want to see how it will go. And honestly, I want PSG out so that we can face Chelsea. But if the chance of even Chelsea qualifying for that round, for me, is like, I'd say a 15% chance. I don't doubt they can do it. They can, but their performances doesn't show that they can beat PSG. I mean, drawing with Leeds and Burnley doesn't mean you are capable of beating PSG. They claim they are underdogs, but
I don't like Chelsea, but to give them the benefit of the doubt, usually against the big teams, they end up praising their game. Usually against the big teams, you always see them.
Yeah. So I know. I know. We can't underestimate Chelsea. They've done it before. They've done it before against Real Madrid. They've done it before against Bayern. So we just wait and see.
Honestly, before I ask you, Ferdinand, the match you're looking forward to, I feel like everybody keeps saying PSG will get it together and they'll click, but I feel like we are giving them too much credit for it because just because last season it clicked doesn't mean this season to click for them. Honestly, I think they have been terrible both in the league and both in the Champions. I feel the number of games they played last season is finally catching up to them, and this season they are struggling with a lot of injuries. None of their players seem to be playing consistently well. So one comes back, another gets injured. Dembele has returned back to his normal settings of playing a number of games, getting injured, coming back, playing a number of games again. And I think if we are being honest, PSG haven't showed anything else where they can confidently say that this season they'll be able to beat Chelsea. What about Fair now? Which
Uh,
match are you looking forward to the most?
The match I'm looking forward to is PSG versus Chelsea, obviously, because both teams they are not necessarily at their best, but like uh, I don't know who would go into that game with more confidence because since they are both not performing like to their elite potential, it might just even out. It will make for an interesting game for sure. PSG this season have not really been doing that much well in the league, and uh, you can say the same thing for Chelsea, even though their league position is not necessarily too bad. But like I think that one is mostly dependent on like all the other teams in the Premier League. They are not everybody. In fact, it's like in the whole world right now, there's no particular consistent team. Like one team that is like obviously overperforming or performing at a high level consistently. Maybe you can say Barca, but like Barca have
I don't
occasionally
think
they've been slipping up. Look,
I don't think
yeah,
because
the Gens have
the team you could see is maybe Bayern, but Bayern in recent weeks they have started to drop a lot of silly points in the Bundesliga. So I don't think any
yeah
team is particularly playing at their very best at this particular
consistent.
moment in time.
Yeah,
The only for
and
me,
also
okay, finish your point.
also like Chelsea will be coming into this game. I presume they would have more confidence than PSG coming into this game because of their last meeting. But like you can't be too sure with PSG. You can't write them off, even though they are not playing well. What he said about their games catching up to them, I 100% agree with it. It's unfortunate that they will not even get rest during this uh, summer break because of the World Cup and stuff. Yeah, so
But at least the the weekend before they play Chelsea, their Liga match has been postponed, so that weekend they don't have any match.
okay,
So at least they get time to
okay,
rest before they
yeah,
play.
but like, but throughout they might not get the form that they had
Yeah,
last
I
season.
don't. Last
Yeah,
season's form, I don't think it will come back. I don't think last season's form they'll hit it again because the players. I feel like the players are too exhausted and they need a
yeah,
break. They
they
don't
need a
need
complete
more
reset.
football.
Yeah,
So I don't think
exactly.
last season's form would come back.
yeah, I mean, if you look at their their knockout game against Monaco, Monaco could have won obviously right now and qualified,
Yeah,
but they messed up in the first leg. In the second leg, too, got a red
They
card,
go right.
messed up.
At some point, honestly, I thought the match was
There was
bought because the way two
yeah,
different matches, you keep get you lead, then both of your teams, all the matches, you have a player sent off
yeah.
to me. Started to feel a bit suspicious.
They were looking better. Like they could have won that game against PSG. They exposed PSG. Monaco actually has exposed PSG to other teams to look at. Hey, this is the PSG we've played, and they're actually taking their chances. So Chelsea will look at Monaco's game against PSG and look at if Monaco were able to score this number of goals, we can do same. And since we are better at defending at defending them, and we've already played them before, we can do it again. So that's why this makes this tie very 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 interesting.
And also, one last thing before we move on, PSG don't have Donnarumma and go anymore, so they don't have some Safanov. They signed Chevalier this season. Luis Enrique he's doing a thing of where they sign a player, he plays me a bit, he drops him now. Stefanov is in the Stefanov is in goal for PSG and it's not the same as Donnarumma. So now let's move on to the next match, which is the annual UCL match, which it seems like I think since 2022, almost every year
Yeah,
they
since
play each other.
2022.
Real
Yeah.
Madrid versus Manchester City. And in this
Wow.
match, let me start with you, Ferdinand. Who do you have going through in this match?
honestly, I wish I could say Real Madrid, but like looking at things, I think Manchester City have a higher chance of going to because they are, even though they've not been at their best this season, they still look a much more convincing team than Real Madrid. But I hate Manchester City, so Real Madrid will go through in Jesus' name. So I don't see Real Madrid. Real Madrid have the quality though, but like they are not how I will talk on. They are not.
They are not
uh,
cohesive enough
consistent. Yeah,
for it to
exactly.
be
They are not
shown consistently.
consistent. Yeah, at all. Like even as Mbappe is out of the team right now, their
But
win against Benfica was not as convincing as I thought would have been. It
I
was
would say
still like a close game.
I would say this though, Mbappe being out gives Vinicius the opportunity for us to see the best version because that issue of them going to one particular position, that issue is dotted. I don't know if you watched if you saw there was a clip going around when against Osasuna,
They
Vinicius was
were
telling
both
Mbappe to go into the
they were
box
both on
because
the left hand side of the
both of them
box.
were on the left hand side. So I think with Mbappe being out, that issue is somehow solved. So
It's
that
limited, but like you'll still need someone to occupy that number nine position, especially
Gonzalo can
Gonzalo,
do that for them.
yeah, he
Gonzalo
can, but
Garcia.
like he has not faced a level of McGahey and Ruben Diaz. Like that's a very big and strong partnership. Pause. But like uh, going against that level of defense is not something he has been up against before. And let's see how well he does against them. But like I'm not too convinced that Real Madrid can go through like
Okay.
in this game.
Clarence, what do you think?
Me, I'm favoring Man City obviously because I'm mentioning two players, Ryan Cherki and
And Semenyo.
Antoine Semenyo. The big, they'll be the big deciders for Man City. Haaland, after what match week 20 or match week 21, has vanished. He's
Oh,
nowhere to
but
be seen. If it's
the
not
last match
penalty goals,
against their last match against who did they play last? I forgot who was the last match last week.
Yeah, I remember he scored,
Yeah, he
but
did
wasn't
score. He
it a
provided an
penalty?
assist. I forgot who they played.
Oh yeah.
yeah, he
Actually,
provided an
I,
assist. Provided an
he played
assist.
that match.
Yes,
That was one of the best matches I've seen him played. Who did they play last week?
yeah,
Why have I forgotten this so quick?
yes. But let
I've
me say
forgotten who they
this. Let
played,
me say
but
this.
he played one of his best. I think now he's becoming more well rounded in the way he plays.
He-
And
He's
so I
he's
don't.
getting.
By the way, he picked up an injury, so he didn't. A minor injury, so he didn't play today. But let's see if he'll be ready for the match against
they
the match
played
against Madrid.
Leeds.
No, they played
He
Leeds today.
didn't.
Last week.
He didn't
They
play.
played Newcastle. Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle. Yeah, the match against Newcastle. That was one of his best matches recently. So let's see how well he does against Real Madrid. But honest and Roma, and one thing to that works against Real Madrid is Jude Bellingham will not be available for that match, and also I don't think Mbappe will be available for that match. Then Adam Militao is also out, so let's see how they do. So all of you agree that Real Madrid, all of you agree that Man City are going through.
Yes.
No. I didn't say that. I
Yeah,
said
you said Real
I
Madrid.
think Man City have a better chance, but I hope Real Madrid go through. And because of my hope, I'm pushing Real Madrid to go through.
When
I
when
think
has
Man
your
City. I think the
hatred
first leg
ever
is at
been
the
successful?
Bernabeu and the second leg is at the Etihad. So the 90 minutes at the Bernabeu, all those things. Unless Real Madrid get a huge win against Man City in the first leg, I don't see Real Madrid winning them. It will be like that match where the 2022 semi-final, where at the Etihad, Real Madrid were completely embarrassed by. So now then let's move on to the next match on that side of the draw, which is Liverpool Galatasaray. Liverpool Galatasaray.
Well,
Who do you guys
it can
think?
go
I
both
think
ways.
I honestly feel like this match, with the first leg being in Tech, it helps favors Liverpool because they could get a result, then bring it to Anfield. And Galatasaray have shown that even against Juventus, they are not one of the best teams away from home. So I think this match it will be difficult, but I expect Liverpool to go through. Clarence, what do you think?
Mm, this one, like I said, it can go both ways. If Galatasaray can keep a clean sheet at home against Liverpool convincingly, like a 5-0 win. This is not against Juve
There's
that
no
was
way. There's
5-2.
no way Galatasaray are beating Liverpool more than 2 goals. I don't expect to see that
Relax,
happening.
relax, calm down. They've done it before against them. They played in Turkey, and then I think they won. Was it 1-0 or 2-0 or 3-0? I don't even remember the
Yeah, they played
scoreline.
earlier this season and they won 1-0. That one,
Yes,
yeah.
that's why
But I
it's going
don't.
to be an extremely difficult game. But all I'll say is we can't undermine Liverpool right now again. But I also feel like they could bottle that Champions League. Galatasaray will qualify. But me being a Liverpool hater, I'm going with Galatasaray. Thank you.
Ferdinand, what about
Personally,
you?
contrary to what you guys are saying, I think it will be quite straightforward for Liverpool. I think Liverpool they've started to show something. It's been subtle, but like they've consistently been winning matches ever since their Manchester City loss. They've won their next 4 games in a row, and their most recent game, the game they played today, they won West Ham 5-2. It might not sound as impressive, but West Ham like they've been
Yeah,
getting
West Ham have
better
been
like
have been picked up some form in the
lately.
last few weeks.
Yeah, but like Liverpool were able to handle them easily. They scored 5 goals against them, and I don't think Galatasaray. I don't think they are like a team that would hinder Liverpool
They
that
have a
much.
lot of good
I'd
players, though.
compare.
They have some good players.
Yeah,
The thing is, personally,
but
I think
I'll compare.
what I think it a lot to depend on the first leg. If the first leg the results is tight, I think Liverpool win. But if Galatasaray are able to score a lot of goals in the first leg, then they have a high chance of winning. But I expect Liverpool to beat Galatasaray if at Anfield. So
Yeah,
I think Liverpool will go through.
yeah. I'd compare Galatasaray to a team like Fulham in the Premier League. I think
Hey,
But
like that's
that is
their
being
level.
disrespectful. That has been
Nah,
disrespectful to Galatasaray.
honestly. They have players, they have a player that raises their peak, but like throughout their squad is
They
not
have a lot of good
is
players. They have
very
Sani,
average.
they have
Yeah,
Gundogan. Okay, Gundogan has passed his best, but
players.
still you get you to
And do you
most teams
think
in the
Sane
Premier
is
League.
still at his best? Do you think Sane is
You,
still at his best? Do you think any of the top 6 sides, maybe apart from Tottenham, will sign Sane at this point in time? I doubt it. I
yeah,
think they are
you
mid-table. If they were in the
um
Premier League, they would be mid-table,
Tottenham
maybe
could do
ninth.
with a Gundogan at the moment. In fact,
Tottenham they could
Tottenham
do
could
with
do a lot of players
anybody,
from Galatasaray.
Tottenham will sign.
anybody at all.
Tottenham will gladly sign any of Galatasaray's starting 11 players, maybe except Davinson Sanchez. They will gladly sign the
Yes,
rest of
because he
them.
was already there. And, well, he
Yeah,
didn't really do that much
Eh,
for them.
who knows?
So now let's talk about Bayern, Bayern Munich, Atalanta. I feel like this is I'm not saying the most straightforward match because Arsenal play Bayer Leverkusen, but I feel like this is one of those matches where Bayern Munich usually rack the number of goals against the team.
yeah,
Bayern Munich recently have been shaky in defense. Even today against Dortmund, it wasn't one of
Yeah,
they are really be conceding a lot of goals. So and Atalanta is a team that likes to play expansively and attack a lot. So I won't be surprised if this match is go heavy. Maybe you could see one of the matches be like 3-2, 4. I won't be surprised if it's something like that. But I ultimately expect Bayern Munich to go through. Ferdinand, what do you think?
yeah. I think Bayern Munich have way too many players that like are game changers. They have Olise, they have Hurricane, they have Luis Diaz. Their front three alone is deadly, and
And Jamal
Musiala
Musiala is
coming
also
from
back
the
now.
bench. Yeah, Musiala coming from the bench. I mean, come on, you can't deal with that. Plus, considering their midfield, so they have even today Kimmich, uh, stepping up with goals from the midfield. I think they are way too powerful. They have goals from way too many places for them to. Even if they concede, I still feel like they will outscore their opponent.
Yeah. So that Clarence, do you want to add something to it?
nope. I agree with everything he said. Bayern will go through unless Atalanta shocks everybody like they did on was it Tuesday or Wednesday night. If they do that, well, congratulations
I
to them.
mean,
But
it was surprising that they beat Dortmund, but it wasn't that surprising because Dortmund have this gene of where things are going well for them, then are bottling it. Like, and when I forgot, I think it was 23, 24. So when they supposed to do it, they needed to win the last game to win the league. They ended up drawing. So it's not that surprising that Dortmund bottled what they do. So let's go to the other
And
side
yeah,
of
and
the
the
bracket.
Champions League final against Real Madrid, they hit the
Yes,
woodwork like 4 or 5
yeah.
times in that game.
Dortmund just have that gene in them of where sometimes just bottle things. When things are going on for, they find a way to sabotage themselves.
yes, they are the
So
true
now,
kings. They are the true bottle FC, followed by Arsenal.
No, they are
no,
not.
Arsenal are there, but
No.
you so sorry for that. So let's talk about Barcelona Newcastle. This match, when it was played, I think it was in September or so. That was the first match for Barcelona. I think that was
Straightforward
Barcelona's
for
first match.
Newcastle. Newcastle 3-0 win first leg, 3-0 second leg. Straightforward.
Did
I
you
don't
watch?
think
Did
too
you watch the
straightforward.
match this weekend against Everton? Did you watch the match against Everton this weekend?
I mean, Newcastle, when it is those Champions League matches, they end up praising their game. But I expect the first leg to be cagey and to be different. I think Barcelona might win like maybe 2-1. I don't think it to be
That's
a
what
high scoring game in the first leg. But in the
that's
second leg, I
what
expect
that's what
Barcelona
we
to
all
run rampant against Newcastle in the second leg.
yeah, that's what we all said. And if it wasn't the fact that they won, was it 5-1 or 6-1 away, Karabakh would have gotten into the game at their home and trashed them because
I
Karabakh
don't
were
think so. I
literally
feel like
pressing them.
no. I feel like that in that match, though, Newcastle they knew the match was already over before it started. They didn't play to their very best. That match, I think they already knew it was over before it started. Ferdinand Clarence, how do you see the match going between Newcastle and
Um,
Barcelona?
I feel at the St James's Park. Here's the problem with Barcelona going into that game. Without both Frankie De Jong and Pedri playing in the midfield starting together, the game will be shaky. So meaning it
I
will not
feel
be as
McBurnell. Wait, I feel
Mark
McBurnell
Bernal
has
Mark
in
Bernal will
recent
do a
weeks.
solid job. Yes, he will do a
Yeah, I
solid
think
job.
he'll be,
My
he'll be
problem
able to.
is
Him with
yeah,
him with Pedri being now, I think they'll be able to cope with Newcastle. Even though it's
yeah,
the same as with
yeah,
Frankie De Jong, I think they'll still be able to cope.
yes. But I'm saying if Pedri doesn't start that game and it's Dani Olmo playing the normal like defense deep defensive playmaker role, and then Pedri comes into the game, maybe things will change. But obviously, Lamine Yamal will be the decider again, and maybe possible Rafinha too will do his wonders. Ferran Torres, I expect him to hit the woodwork like 3 times because it seems that's his target aim most of the time. And then maybe if
Yeah,
Rashford can
but
perform his magic again on England soil, he will do it. But then I can see
But I
them
Clarence,
don't
hold on.
giving that ground at least 3-1.
I don't
Even
think
if
me I think Pedri
they might
start that match.
struggle.
Obviously, I think Pedri start. But I think the first match, the first leg will be tight. I don't think Barcelona will
Yeah,
go to St James's Park and score about 4-0. I don't think that's how to. I think it will be
yeah.
a cage match. I think Barcelona also concede goals. I think they also concede goals. But I just expect them to win. But I don't think. I think it will be tight. Ferdinand,
And
what do you want to say?
yeah, but before Clarence said something that Lamine Yamal will be the deciding factor of the match, but like it quite clearly, what you guys when Rafinha is not in the team, you guys missing more than if any other player is out of the team, because I think normally he is the deciding factor. Even though Lamine Yamal he's
Yes.
creative, he creates chances for the team. I feel like Rafinha normally is the much more clinical player. In fact, probably your most clinical player in the team. He's the main deciding factor in most of your games.
The
And I think
yes.
in in regards to you guys' midfield, you're missing quite a lot of players. And Newcastle, they are in the Premier League, and we know how physical the Premier League is.
They are
And
not. They
compared
are
to
not
other
missing
Premier
a
League,
lot of players. They're
yeah,
only
like
missing two players
relevant,
currently.
yeah. But those two
It,
players are like
it's only the
significant.
only
De Jong,
player, only Dion and
De
Gavi
Jong,
and Dion and Gavi are the only players that are
exactly.
missing midfield.
So I'm coming. Let me state my point. Gavi is one of, if not your most aggressive player, and De Jong is one of probably your biggest midfielder because you guys don't have necessarily have big midfielders. And my point is that the Premier League is quite a physical league, and Newcastle are one of the more physical teams in the Premier League. So I coming up against like players like Pedri, Dani, I feel like they
I
could
mean,
get bullied.
we did it
I,
once,
I
What
know.
and
did you watch? Did you watch?
and
Did you
Yeah,
watch? Did you watch the
England
win
was so
against them?
mesmerized. They felt like they have discovered the keys to heaven. Everybody was so
no, no,
surprised
no.
by Pedri.
England vs Spain is different from club
I'm not
teams.
talking.
So, so
I'm talking about
I'm talking about the
when we played
when
Newcastle.
when, when we played them.
When we played Newcastle this
Everybody
season
was
and
talking
yeah,
about
Coscos
but
and everybody in
was it
Pedri.
not
England
like
is like
2-1? Wasn't the scores like
I'm
2-1?
not talking
Just
about
2-1.
this one. I'm talking about Pedri's performance. You are saying that Newcastle have a bigger midfield as well. I guess, and I mean that
Yeah,
we have
Yeah,
already been able
this
to
is a
manage them
knockout
once.
round. It's different.
but we played.
Knockout round is different.
No,
I'm
it's not
just, I'm
different.
just.
No,
That
see,
would be
I think. See,
look,
hold on. Let me finish. Hold on,
okay.
Clarence.
Finish.
I'll finish right now. I'm just saying, it's just a tricky prospect for you. Barca are obviously the better team, so you'd expect them to go through. I'm just saying that it will be a lot more physical in this game, and you guys might find it a little bit difficult, a little bit more difficult. But all in all, you guys have more like game winners in your team, players who finish chances, unlike Newcastle. So even though Newcastle might bully some of your players sometimes, I still feel like Barca will ultimately have like the final say because even though Pedri is not the most physical player, he's still very technical, and you find a way. He normally does. So I think it might still be tricky for you. So if you going to Newcastle, I think is you might draw over there. I don't think it will be a win for Barcelona
Yeah,
at
I don't.
Newcastle.
What I'm happy about though is that the second leg is at home. So the first leg, you don't. The first leg, just don't lose the first leg. You can get a draw. You could win 1-0 in the second leg. You take care of things at home. So now let's move on to Tottenham Atletico. I feel like this match is straightforward. I
Hey,
don't think
quickly, make it no
there's
even
much
waste time.
discard. Tottenham are
Atletico
getting
Madrid
spanked.
win. Yeah,
I think
let's not
Tottenham are
waste
getting
time.
spanked home and away. So let's
We
not
don't
waste
we
time.
don't have to talk. We don't even have to talk about the team that is facing relegation battle. We don't have to talk about them. So obviously, Atletico is
Why
going to
if
win
by
their
some
hearts
miracle
because I
Tottenham
don't
win
see
this thing, this clip will age badly.
how no
I
how do
don't
they
think
no how do they
Tottenham are
win?
not winning
Have you
this.
have you seen
Tottenham
their
are not
squad?
winning. Let's be honest.
Have you seen
Tottenham
their
are not
squad?
winning.
How
I
do they
said
win?
miracle.
Tottenham. Now
Yeah.
let's Sporting. I feel like Bodø.
Hmm.
Honestly, this match I don't know. I think it could be go both ways. It depends on the first leg because the first leg we played at Bodø Glimt home. So if they end up beating Sporting by a huge margin there, I think they can end up winning it. But if Sporting manage to get a draw there, I think Sporting could manage
You
could deal with
know
them at their home.
you
What
know
do you
what's
think,
crazy?
Clarence?
You know what's crazy? This
Well,
team humbled Inter Milan, Champions League finalists from last season. A team Barca conceded what 7 goals against, and they did it convincingly. Like it was easy for them,
yeah, but they
and
did
I was
it.
surprised. I was actually surprised by the way they played, and I was like, this can be the same Bordeaux
Me,
games that when the Champions League started,
I'm
first 3 games they were struggling, and then all of a sudden beat Atletico, beat Man City, then they just beat Inter home and away. I was like, yo, now they've gotten Sporting Lisbon. Now, obviously, these are two teams where everybody's saying their leagues are not that great. But Bodo Glimt have just showed against Inter that now they are here to play against the heavyweights.
ECG doing dirty
And with
pan.
Sporting Lisbon, who have also not been in entirely great form because right now they are missing some players due to injury. It's going to be a very, very tricky game, especially where if Bodo Glimt take their chances
Oh,
at
sorry.
home and end up scoring 3-4 goals, it could be over for Sporting Lisbon. That's the only thing I'll say. But then it can go
Yeah.
either ways. It can go either
Bodo Glimt
ways.
seem like the
So
underdog of the Champions League this season because the
yeah,
caliber of the teams they've
yeah.
beaten is ridiculous.
It's it's insane, insanely ridiculous, bro. And it was not even any laughing matter. Like nobody should be looking at Bodo Glimt and be saying and be laughing like Charlie they beat Inter. But even Man City were shocked as to how they lost what? Was it 3-1 or
Yeah,
4-1 to them? They were shocked. And then they did
yeah,
the same thing against Atletico Madrid and then they beat
yeah,
Inter twice. Like it was nothing.
and take into consideration like Inter are quite a defensive team and see the number of goals they were able to score against Inter both home and away. And they've
Exactly.
done very well for their level.
And look, and it's not the amount of goals they were able to score, and how they were able to defend and concede just 1 goal in
Yeah,
both legs against
true.
them, just one.
And
I was
yeah,
surprised.
yeah. Bodo Glimt have been the under. If they somehow get through this game and they have a chance against Atletico Madrid if you don't take care because like Bodo Glimt. No, it's not. No, okay, they are not facing Madrid. They face either
No,
Bayer
they'll face
Leverkusen or
other
Arsenal.
Balaba.
But yeah, so okay, maybe that might be the end of their Champions League run. But like I'd expect them to win against Sporting. What about you?
Me too. I actually expect
Same,
them to beat Sporting. Yeah, because
sure.
Sporting has injury. Sporting has some injury issues right lately, and they've not been playing at their complete best, relying on last minute game winners and what. Bodo Glimt are not playing like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, I expect Bodø Glimt to win.
And now finally, Bayer Leverkusen versus Arsenal.
Yes.
What do you think about this?
Bottle FC. Bottle FC. Now let's take a deep dive against this. Leverkusen haven't been in their very best. We know that. But in the Champions League, when they meet these big teams, they get very, very, very excited. And we know what they can do. Or so I will just say that Leverkusen in the Champions League so far, they get excited playing some of these heavyweight teams. That's the only thing I'll say. And then I'll say is that if Arsenal find it difficult to beat Leverkusen, then meeting a team like Bodø Glimt will be a big struggle for them.
Yeah,
We know
they're
that
tricky.
they are very, very capable, but we've also seen that against teams that defend very, very well and rely on the counter can easily score against them. I saw that when they played against Brentford. I saw that when they played another team they drew against. I don't quite remember, but we know when they play these kind of teams, they are able. These kind of teams are able to actually rely on the counter and also penetrate Arsenal's defense. Bodø
Yeah.
Glimt too, they take their chances. Their players actually take their chances. So if they fail to beat Leverkusen convincingly, then if they are meeting Bodø Glimt, they will struggle. But I do believe they can get past Leverkusen. It will be a tricky game. Don't lie, it will be a very, very tricky game.
I mean, it could possibly a tricky game, but then again, it is Arsenal one of the best teams so far this season. To be fair, they
Yeah,
top the champions, and if we are supposed to follow the script of last season, then we shouldn't expect them to go past this level. But like Arsenal are a better team than Bayer Leverkusen. It, I don't know what
yeah,
I won't say it to be straightforward, but like Arsenal should be comfortable in this game, and I think Arsenal should it shouldn't take them too much trouble to dispose of Bayer Leverkusen. But I never know with Arsenal though. But this season they've gone far
yeah,
in every single tournament, every single competition they've played in. So you should hope that this. I mean, maybe people will not hope, but you should think that they would continue their like consistency in various competitions. And yeah, basically that's all for that particular match, and that is all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. I beg you, we don't want the engagement. They will.
6 million ways to die. Choose one.